Hey everybody, it's Lex.
Hey Chris.
I thought swag meant something different. Scientific, wild.
Nowadays it just means I want free stuff.
Oh, I want free stuff? Well, okay, swag it up, guys.
T-shirts.
Patch Management 101, guys. We're going to take you over probably some stuff you know. And then Chris and I are going to take you through some advanced scheduling so, you can actually... help me out here, Chris.
Schedule all the things. Get all the stuff done. Pull from here. Pull from there. Pull from everywhere. Get your stuff updated.
CLI, kick off your schedules is really what I was going for there, buddy. But
oh, PowerShell.
At any rate, should we just hit it?
Yes,
yeah.
All right, so first thing we're going to do, we're just going to take you guys through setting up a auto deployment. And basically, we're just going to break it down for you what everything really is. So, Chris?
Okay. So, in order to set up an auto deployment, which for those of you who don't know is the coolest thing ever, it allows you to pull any package from a package library to have constantly updated according to a schedule. So, first before that, we need to set up a schedule.
A schedule. Okay, so basically, we're going to pick a package that we want auto deployed at this point.
Yep.
I like to call it set and forget it. Do it once and then just get some reports after the fact, knowing that your stuff is getting updated.
Sweet. I love it.
So what are we going to pick?
I love Chrome.
I love Chrome too.
Everybody loves Chrome. Let's do Chrome.
Okay.
So
at this point, instead of importing, you're going to hit new auto deployment.
yes, this fancy button right over there that's not highlighting because that's cool.
It highlighted over there.
It did. That's amazing.
Anyway, so you hit that because basically on an import, you're downloading the current install package to your machine. When you set up an auto deploy, it's going to say, I'm going to check at time of deployment and pull it down at that moment.
Okay, so let's create it. So in this case, you can use an existing schedule if you have those, which you should because they're awesome. But if you don't, and you just want to join the cool club, you can actually create a new schedule this way.
There's a cool club called Create a New Schedule.
Yeah, the Create a Schedule Cool Club for corgis. Let's just do all the tongue twisters.
All right, we're just going to do it right there.
So
always good to name these things. My cool schedule for corgis. Alrighty then.
Leave it to Chris.
That works, man.
So
here's the thing on triggers, guys. A couple of things you need to know about triggers. Obviously, basically, you set it for when you want it to go.
yes,
Right? Are there a few gotchas on that?
there are. So well, first and foremost, for example, the heartbeat trigger is one that we really recommend people use. So
Now, the heartbeat trigger works with inventory, and the reason it works with inventory is what the heartbeat does is when a machine goes from an offline state to an online state, it then checks in with deploy and says, is there anything out there waiting for me?
bam, did
And
that.
if there is, when it comes online, it will send it to that point.
Yes, and the gotcha we're talking about here is in inventory. I will show you. In the preferences, we actually do an auto heartbeat to all machines by default.
We do this because we don't have an
Oops, it's
agent,
in
so
network.
where you set this is under network.
Yep.
And our interval is set at 120 seconds. The default's 300.
Yes.
And depending on how many machines, you may want to, expand or contract that on your network.
Yes, which means, and so because it's talking about from inventory standpoint, if the changing from offline to online, if for whatever reason you have ridiculously fast computers that can reboot in like 2 seconds, it won't see that unless it happens between those 2 seconds.
So
that does a heartbeat.
So there will be a gap. It'll wait and then boom, eventually come on because of that heartbeat. But the gotcha is if you happen to put a reboot in there, machine just came online, you've done a reboot, again, kind of a waste of time. So just be aware with your heartbeat schedules, be very judicious with your reboots.
Yeah, just think. I mean, it's kind of a general common sense. I mean, do you really want to reboot this? If you do, cool, fantastic. Think about it.
All right.
Heartbeat. I'm going to add it because we love heartbeat.
Let's do a weekly on this.
Let's do it. I like weekly.
And because it's me and I'm just mean, we'll do it in the middle of the day.
Cool. I like it. Every Thursday at 11 a.m., people are going to get new Chrome.
So if they are running Chrome, it'll actually shut down on them.
It's a good reason for them to just walk away from the computer
Expect
for
some
lunch.
phone calls, yes. Yeah. So you might want to do it after hours if you care about not getting phone calls. Brig, I just see him over there kind of
Middle of the day deployments.
middle of the day deployment.
Yep.
Yes. Flavor of the day. Yay. So,
Let's take a question, yeah.
All right. Dear Chris and Lex, how do I keep the packages that I already imported up to date? And my second question is, how do I deploy the newest imported version, parentheses, auto deployment? Kind regards, Rennie V.
Renee?
Rennie.
Are we
Usually it's Rennie.
doing literal names today?
Oh.
AA Ron?
Ron. Or if we're doing the Kelly thing, it's Renev.
Hey,
Hi, thanks for the question.
Now that we're done abusing Jake. Okay, so basically keep the packages you import up to date. If they're imported, they're static on your machine,
Yes.
and you'll have to import them again.
Yes.
Okay. You kind of answered your own question, is basically to keep the newest version going, you need to do an auto deployment.
Yes, and you can change auto deployment to be different versions. And once we finish setting up this auto deployment, I'll kind of go over that and show you how you would do that. It's but for the most part, you want the most up to date, typically with most software, and so it's going to do that for you based off your policy. I can't, because this is a modal window, show you the.
We'll show them after.
We'll show you.
We'll show you after this.
Yep.
But I just want to make sure to verify this, right, Chris? So now, if you've got auto deployment set up,
Yes.
does it pull it down at the time of deployment, or does it pull it down as soon as there's a new version?
So when there's a new version, according to your policy set for like getting the packages update, the update policy,
Mm-hmm.
when that happens, based off what your interval is, it will then update to the latest
So that's
version.
that's the auto approval
Yes,
interval.
that one.
Okay, we will show you that in just a bit.
Yep.
But we'll point that out for you, Renee.
We will.
All right. So
Targets. After we do triggers, we want to add some targets because we want to deploy these to machines. Now, you can add them manually, so if I wanted to add Fry, my favorite machine in the world, I would just add Fry that way.
the problem with just adding machines manually, it's not a problem, I guess. The limitation.
Yeah, that's a good
Okay,
word. That's a good word.
is, let's say you add Fry. Fry is the only thing that's ever going to be on this. But if you need people who have the latest, have got old versions of Chrome, since
Yep.
we are doing the Core Geek version of Chrome, apparently, you're going to want to do a link to.
Yes.
And what happens with the link to is it's going to, at time of deployment, reference PDQ inventory at that point. And put
Yes,
your stuff in.
and this is important. So we have the choose targets versus link to. Choose targets, if you pick from inventory, Active Directory, whatever, those are static. It'll actually pull them in, similar to how Fry was added here by me. It'll add them just as static entries.
Yes, static entries, guys. Okay, that's what I want to point out with choose targets. Link to is generally what you're going to want to do for auto deployments.
Yes, so in this case, if we did link to an inventory collection, like Alex was referencing, we'll point it to the Google Chrome in the collection library. In fact, we'll do a filter here, just because it's faster.
I love faster.
I love faster too. Chrome, and we want to deploy to all the ones that have an old Chrome Enterprise. We'll just hit that.
While you're hitting that, I just want to
okay.
point this out, guys. This is, I like to call this a smart deployment, okay? Because I'm not hitting people who don't have Chrome, who don't need Chrome, and I'm not doubling up on people who already have it. So
Yeah.
this is a nice smart deployment, minimum amount of traffic across the network.
Yep.
I would call this a best practice.
This
actually.
is a best practice then. I would agree.
All right, so we picked our targets. Do we have any questions about targets? In regards to any questions out there right now that we've got? If not, we will keep rolling.
Okay,
All right.
sweet.
So I guess the next point, if we're just logically doing this, is to talk about the options.
Yes, we do. Because there's one important one that's set by default, though, just to be aware of, is this one right here, which is the stop deploying to targets once they succeed. This is a great setting. What it means is once you actually deploy to a target successfully, it'll stop deploying that on that schedule. So even though we're doing it weekly at Thursday at 11 a.m., if it works properly, it'll never happen again.
So I like how you gotta stop deploying. You had your arm out. Stop deploying once you've got it.
This reminds me of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Excellent. Yeah, okay. So that is very important, guys. Unless, okay, there's times you don't want to do that. If you are scheduling reboots,
Yep.
okay, like a weekly reboot on Friday
Yeah.
in the middle of the day, like I would do it, right? Okay, after hours, right?
Full contact IT.
You don't want to check that because week 1 it'll work, and week 2 it will not work.
Correct.
And we will show you why it won't work,
Yes.
and why this does work. Now that I've confused everybody, including myself,
Hooray.
let's just move on.
All right. So you can define credentials, who you want it to run as, and you could even pick with recent update in inventory. You can even use the credentials from inventory to get that to work. So please explore that option. What does that mean?
Basically, that means if let's say you have multiple sets of credentials for machines, if you use the PDQ inventory to do it, you don't have to set up a schedule for my domain machines and a schedule for my workgroup machines. You can just use the credentials that are set up in inventory, and boom, you're off to the races. One schedule,
Yes.
one ring to rule them all.
And then in the darkness, deploy to them. So
Yes.
with that, just remember that it uses those credentials first, and will always fall back to the PDQ deploy credentials. That's a good part to know because it's awesome to have. So
They got a question.
I love questions.
My bros, Chris and Lex, do you use PDQ to patch servers as well as workstations? Do you recommend using PDQ to do both? Would you recommend separating them? Why or why not? Kindest regards, Brian W.
Hey, Brian. Personally, I would say that's a full-on opinion thing.
Yeah.
It's really what you think. I'm going to throw that in a brig. What do you think, man? What would you do? Not an answer, Brig.
It sort of just depends.
Just depends.
It really does. It just depends on your environment. You know, I mean, this is something that you need to evaluate on it's a case-by-case basis. There's not really kind of like a one-answer-fits-all.
That is true. Now, go ahead.
I was going to say, for example, would you deploy stuff to your Exchange server?
Never.
Never. Okay, the other thing I'm just going to throw that out there. Anything that's going to do a reboot, you might not want to deploy to your servers. You might want to change that up because, personally, I like to control my server reboots. I mean, bad stuff happens if you reboot. And it's
I've
not
actually never
planned.
deployed to servers.
You've never done it?
No. That's a manual process, something that I can evaluate later on. And
I've used deploy to do it, but I don't automate it.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's-
I manually
I use
do
deploy
it,
to
so-
do it, but I don't. Yeah, there's no automation.
I think there are some that do, but that's at your own risk.
Yes,
It's
it's-
not,
Again,
it's not a
it's
best
an opinion.
practice. It's not something
Yeah.
we recommend.
Yeah, there's no necessarily best practice because it's very on your environment based.
Yeah.
So
So I don't automate it. I use deploy to get it there. I control the reboots myself.
yep,
All right.
cool. All right.
Beat that one to death.
Yay! So the rest of these options in here, they're just take a look at them. Like this one, you can actually choose to run as the logged on user, for example, which a lot of people need to run software as the logged on user, and to stop the schedule if it's not been going forever. So,
Briggs got a comment.
Yeah, just before we move on to the stop deploying to targets once they succeed.
Yeah.
This is one of those things that you need to understand too, is that when with an auto deployment, because we automatically update that package in the background, that will reset. So it's it just deploys it just that once and never again. What happens is once the Chrome package will update, once we release that package, then it will go ahead and deploy because the package itself has changed.
True. And that's based off target history, which we will show you in just a minute. And target history goes off version number.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brig.
Wonderful. Offline settings, we recently moved this to be able to set in the schedule so you can actually get things like wake on LAN to wake up your machines per schedule rather than per package. Because you might have it defined globally, you might have it defined per package, but you don't know. You can actually override that here and say, oh, I actually do want to wake these guys. Maybe, perhaps. So you can actually override that here, as well as retray queue. So something to be aware of. And then let's just move on to target history.
Yep. And so basically, after your deployments are done, target history, this is where it records whether or not it has a successful or unsuccessful attempt at a deployment.
In fact, we can show you that in another schedule once we finish this auto deployment creation. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll finish this for Chrome. It's going to create this new item over here for auto deployment packages for Google Chrome Enterprise. It's going to start downloading.
Because there is a current version that it is pulling. Okay.
So there it is.
And okay, so let's talk about history again. Brig brought up a really good point. Okay, history goes by version. Okay, so when a new version comes out, basically the history is cleared for that, and the new deployment starts. Now, let's say I wanted to redeploy on a schedule, but how do I get a machine out of that?
Yes, that's a good question. In fact, we allow you to
into
delete
that or whatever it is. Yeah.
from the history. You can delete the target from the target history. And in fact, I did some deployments before we started the webcast using the all your corgis are belong to me. And so in this case, we open this up and see that I deployed 7-zip and test package, and all of them were successful. So there's two packages apiece.
Tell me, how in the world does any of this relate to corgis? Even the slightest bit?
Why not?
Chris has transcended obsession, and it's more.
I'm just waiting for corgis are cool.
Yeah.
I'm channeling them.
Channeling okay.
Rough.
Right.
Something.
Okay, so here's the history, right? So you deployed that to my machine?
Unintentionally. Look, I'll show you the targets. The targets we actually have set to Deadwood Computers, Workstation, Windows 10.
No kidding.
You're the only member of that.
I am the only member of that.
So if the next O'Reilly book comes out and it's PowerShell, but it has a corgi on front, we'll know exactly why that happened.
There we go.
If any of you are out there writing the next PowerShell book, or if Chris happens to write it,
on it,
I'll be so happy. So here we have, since we deployed 2 packages here, we have 2 packages listed, and they're both successful to our 2 targets.
That's just paybacks for all the ones I've deployed to yours.
That's
during
right.
the webcast.
Take that.
That's what it is.
Smack. But say we wanted to redeploy 7-zip to Fry, for example. we can actually go ahead and just delete or delete from all schedules.
What's the difference?
Yes, the difference being delete deletes from the current schedule, whereas delete from all schedules will actually go into every schedule that exists on your deploy machine and remove Fry from the target
Okay, so
history.
timeout. It'll take it out of Corgis or belong to me and every other schedule?
Every other one we have.
So it literally is from all schedules?
All schedules.
Okay.
All schedules. In fact, you can see Fry in here. I'll actually close and show you fancy schedule number 2, which has, I will show you also Fry. So
Okay.
if I do delete from all schedules for Fry, yes I do, it'll delete from here, and then we're going to go over to Corgi, all your Corgis are belong to me, and see that Fry's gone.
Okay, so this is basically if you've re-imaged a machine.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
what it's for.
A one-stop shop, bang, let's just get everything back
Yes.
to Fry.
Start it all over again.
Okay.
Yep, it's good stuff.
All right.
So, yeah, we love that. This is good stuff. So
We're gonna have a discussion about deploying my machine later.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dear sweet and beloved Chris and Lex,
Flattery gets you everywhere.
verbatim. Is there any reason that I couldn't or shouldn't combine all of the Flash updates for different platforms, i.e. Windows 7 and Windows 10, Internet Explorer, and Firefox on the same schedule? Sincerely, Monica K.
I have an opinion. Hi, Monica.
I'm glad you have an opinion because I'm like,
So I like to schedule all the things all together. Personally, that's just my style of doing things, so I don't see a problem with
so
this.
talking about all the things?
All of
or
them.
all the same style thing? All flashed together?
Both.
Time out. You want to do Flash and Chrome and Firefox all in one
So
schedule?
let me
7-zip
explain.
and-
So you
Okay.
typically, so when I have a schedule that I have with all the software that I like to keep up to date, I just like to have a schedule that I know runs daily or nightly or weekly or whatever. And so I just know that I want Chrome up to date, Flash up to date, Flash up to date, Flash up to date, whatever up to date. I like to have kind of a one schedule to rule them all, kind of like what we discussed.
Okay, but all right, that schedule goes out, and as soon as, okay, so 7-zip comes out today, and then the next schedule, it's going to go and try and deploy 7-zip again every single...
Well, as long as you
I
have the
like to
setting.
keep them separate for
So-
that very reason. So, I mean,
stuff.
I guess we got some differing opinions
Yeah.
here. Briggs over there going,
I'm a
he said-
separatist.
Yeah.
I
Separatist?
Definitely separatist,
yeah, I
okay.
agree with Lex.
Yeah,
and
especially
I guess
since-
Brig because
Yeah, because there can be some problems with that because since you're linking to collections and inventory, you can have you can be deploying 7-zip, but you're actually linking to like Java.org.
Exactly, so this is a good point.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm a separatist.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say this, though. I will make a schedule and put no triggers on it that has everything in it, and then call it from command line when I
absolutely.
want to.
Yes. So we'll
Which
do
is
the
different.
individual ones. I like to do the kind of do everything all at once. I don't care because I usually uncheck the stop if it succeeds because I just want it to reinstall and do stuff and go to town. That's my style.
Justifying your bad decision, are you?
Or just continuing my bad decision. So in any case, we love
it works. Yeah.
So
All right. So basically, that's everything in regards to building a schedule for an auto deployment.
yes, it's wonderful. You can go auto deploy all the things. You can modify pre and post steps for your auto deployments.
So Chris, we built a schedule that has Chrome in it. Let's say I wanted Java to go with Chrome, and I wasn't a separatist. Is there an easy way just to add that to that schedule?
Absolutely. We can go to package library and go find Java. Let's say we want to end Java 8. We will do new auto deployment with the existing schedule.
Okay, so this is how we add one to an existing schedule.
And we'll do it for my cool schedule for corgis.
I love you, man. Excuse me. I tolerate you. Okay, so that's basically you can add removing. Let's say I decided that was a mistake because it
go
is
back.
because I like to be a separatist.
You can go to the auto deployment package page itself and go to the schedules tab. And here you can actually just,
If I just delete it from
Detach
Java,
it.
there, does it take it out of the schedules? All of them?
if you hit delete, I'll show you what happens.
Okay.
It'll say, do you want to delete this? Sure. It'll tell you, oh, do you want to detach and delete Java 8? Yes, I do.
Will it list every single package that's in?
It'll
Or
actually
a
just remove.
schedule?
It'll just remove it from the schedule. So if
Okay.
I go back to the schedule that we had,
I'm just
We
saying,
can
if we had it
actually
in
see
two schedules, would I see that come up twice?
yes,
Okay. So if it's in multiple schedules, you will have to say okay through multiple.
I believe so. It might say multiple schedules. I don't remember.
Okay.
But something like
you
that.
will get a warning on
Yeah.
that.
So
Okay.
that's a really good point. So a lot of this is all fancy and fantastic, but I'm a PowerShell guy. Give me PowerShell or give me def. And so I want to do this from the command line and do it with PowerShell, right? So we've done webcasts in the past where we've shown how to do this with invoke command. I just wanted to show you those commands to trigger a schedule. So We have this in the bonus content. Please take a look, open it up, follow along if you'd like. We have this. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so it's actually a little more legible. So starting a schedule is really easy. In fact, you can pull up any elevated command prompt or PowerShell window like this we have here, and you can actually, same thing here. Let's actually update that. Let's make...
What are we doing?
Where am I going?
A runtime change? Ooh, I like
size,
this.
A little risk.
I don't see size, whatever.
All right.
It doesn't matter.
It's fine. I've got it zoomed in. You're good.
Oh, okay. You do.
Yeah.
That's great. That helps a lot more.
Yeah.
So if you do PDQ Deploy or PDQ Inventory help, you can actually see a list of the commands we have available. In this case, there's two that we really want to focus on, which is the delete schedule history, which we just showed you how to do via the button, as well as the start schedule. So that's what I will be doing. In fact, I have kind of an example set up here. The start schedule, it's based off the schedule ID, so if you don't know that, you can actually go into your deploy and look at your schedules and say,
36, 37,
there you
38.
go. If you're like me and I don't want to go look at the schedule ID because lazy,
So you're a good sysad.
that's right. I lazy all the things.
Automate, make yourself lazy as possible.
Absolutely. So I actually do a quick little SQL run against our database, a little query to say, hey, for this name, what's my schedule ID? So in this case, all your corgis are belong to me. I already pre-populated that. And I store it in the schedule name and just run through it so that when I run this command, I know that my schedule ID, 36, should match
36.
right there.
There it is.
So
Okay.
then you can actually do the PDQ Deploy start schedule, and it will trigger that schedule right away. I can say go, and it will start that schedule. We can go over to deploy and see that that schedule has run and the deployments have started. So there it is.
That's pretty
That's how it
neat.
works.
Yeah,
It's
so that's in
deploying
the
to my
bonus
machine
content.
again, isn't it?
No, it's Fry, because I deleted Fry.
Okay. I'm like, oh man,
So-
afterwards we're going to have a throwdown.
Yeah.
Chris, that's in the bonus content, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's in the bonus content. Should
Great. That is a great
cool
PowerShell,
tool.
guys. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff, and you can wrap it around the invoke command to get it to run remotely. So if you wanted to run it against this machine, Guinness, I actually have Fry loaded up, so we could actually run this from Fry if we wanted to.
Chris's password is password
Password.
1.
So we have PowerShell here to run that. PDQ Deploy, we can get the help to actually pull that up again. You can also do the invoke command against computer Guinness, script block, and then here's where you want to define what you want to do, which is, we can come back over here, which, let's say we want to run that schedule again. So we want to do PDQ Deploy start schedule and whatever that schedule was, which means we're going to have to go
36,
deploy
right?
we're actually going to have to go delete the history first.
Okay.
But, so let's go this guy again.
Nuke it all.
Yeah. Target history,
I don't mind getting this one. It's good for a
Ragnar.
rag.
So, where am I at? Fry. Here we go. Okay, so here we were going to do, what was I saying? PDQ Deploy, start, schedule ID 36, is that what it was? And then we were going to hit that and then finish off the script block and say, go fight win, and let it start.
Okay, where this becomes
no.
really important if it works.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let's say you are doing some imaging while Chris is figuring that out. Okay, so you're using MDT, you're using fog, right? When that's done, if you wanted to kick a schedule off to run some updates on that machine, that's how you'd do that. You'd have that call that and invoke it from a remote command. And just make sure those new machines that you have are in an OU or in a collection that's going to actually run against this.
Yeah. Awesome. I might have
Did
not.
you figure it out, man?
I probably haven't enabled remoting on this guy, so
Whoopsie.
that's really what's going on here. So
okay.
anyway, that's how you do it. Look at the script. It's just verbatim this right here.
It's
or
supposed to
this.
work.
It works. I promise.
So when you say enable, it's basically enabling remote commands to be allowed to run on Guinness.
Correct.
All right.
And so it's you actually do the command. It doesn't matter. We have a webcast. Look for it. It's nice. I have a whole webcast on doing enabling remoting and PowerShell to get this running.
Yeah, definitely
But
watch that one, yeah.
You can use PowerShell. You can use PS Exec with PS Tools. Either way works.
Let's take a few questions.
Yeah, question.
Definitely.
All right, dear Chris and Lex, on critical updates such as those advertised by US CERT, will there be a way to automate those out? A con switching from WSUS to PDQ monthly rollups is missing the possibly important in-between patches and being infected or compromised waiting on the rollup. Sincerely, Jason A.
Okay, Jason, I'm going to tell you what I do. Okay, I am a stickler for security. I'm a stickler for patches, and packages. We run both here, and we will continue to run WSUS and PDQ Deploy here. For us to undertake being able to automate all of that, we'd have to put a bunch of zeros on the end of our price tag. So
Essentially.
yeah. Any thoughts on that?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. WSUS works great.
Yeah, Brick?
How about you think?
WSUS.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the combination of the two is perfect. You can get all of your general security roll-ups and everything like that out to your workstations using PDQ, but WSUS for all of those.
PDQ doesn't
security.
replace WSUS. It,
Yeah.
Nope, doesn't replace
it supplements it.
We're better together
Oh yeah,
with WSUS.
we should do a webcast on that.
We should actually.
I'll put it on the
Great question, though, man. Thank you.
on the suggestions.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one more.
Sure.
Actually, two more.
Two more? Okay.
Sweet, Chris and Lex. Is there an easy way for an auto deployment to realize that a station is new and hasn't gotten the deployment, even if stop after successful deployment is checked without manually deleting the target? Our end goal is to have PDQ automatically patch all our newly imaged PCs without us having to manually scrub out the target list or put them in custom AD groups. All the best, Kathleen F.
Thoughts? I have thoughts.
I have one thought.
Okay.
Okay. My only thought is, and it's a bad thought, you just make sure you put that delete scheduled history in there. And if you can automate the process of putting the name in there, delete the schedule, and the next time it runs, you kick it off, it should pick it up.
Yeah.
If you do that wrong, bad things could happen. Maybe I'll just leave it at that.
Depending upon what you're using for your imaging solution, you can probably add to the end of that, like running a little script. If you do this in PowerShell, for example, or command line, whatever you're comfortable with, do this. Delete the schedule history for that target. Run it remotely.
Specific target, yeah. Be specific.
Do what I did, but actually have it work.
I like that.
You can do test WSMan. You can enable all the stuff. Whatever. I'm just sort of timed and showing you. Just go watch the webcast. But for the most part, it's do a good job and it'll be great. So, thank you.
All right, last question. Dear Chris and Lex, is it possible to auto-deploy Dell and or Surface patches when new firmware or drivers get updated? Sincerely, Chris M.
Hi.
Can they run silently? I guess would be the real caveat on that. If it can run silently and it can run silently,
We don't currently have it in our package library, but if you want to go to support.pdq.com, you can make a suggestion.
Yes.
Just understand this, all the packages we do have out there, we do have agreements with our vendors to
yes.
be able to put them out
Yes.
there. So if they say no, nothing we can
can't.
do.
But
Doesn't hurt to
reach
have
out to our
Build a package,
forums.
though.
Yeah.
You can definitely build a package.
Look it up, reach out to the forum. Someone else might have the idea how to do it. And if you do know how to do it, there's not an easy way through PDQ Deploy to have it auto-deploy in the sense of auto-updating the package. But as for putting the package on a schedule, absolutely.
Yeah.
Any package, if we switch back to Deploy real quick, I can show you. Pick up a schedule. I pick up this one. I go to the Packages tab and say Attach to Schedule, and I can pick anything here. Bandizip. Now
And
it's
the ones
attached.
you've built, you can put in there too.
That's it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
So, thanks. Good question.
That is a good question.
Okay.
So, guys, we took you through auto deployments, basically, mostly scheduling. That's really the big thing here is make sure your schedules are smart. Make sure you do smart deployments using inventory. Chris, any thoughts?
That's really it. You can get some advanced stuff with like PowerShell or command line stuff, and I do recommend those because you can do some really funky and fancy stuff with that.
Especially if you're doing imaging, yeah.
Yeah, so we do recommend that specifically for imaging. So,
Hey, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you all later.
thank you.
Thanks for joining our webcast today, everybody. Congratulations to our winners of the swag. We've got the hashtag swag giveaway. We've got Misael Baez, the winner of the coffee mug. And we've got, I'm going to butcher this, Skuli Franz Hjaltason, winner of the whiskey tumbler. So congratulations there. And last but not least, Swen Koopmans, you are the winner of the vintage PDQ coaster. So send us your info to webcast@pdq.com and we'll get those sent out to you. If you guys have any additional questions, don't forget to hit up our support forums. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here next week.